A lot had changed in the Sol system since Mikri threw himself at our mercy. I remembered how nervous our robotic friend had been entering the ship, with a human he didn't know. The Vascar had been all but hiding behind Sophia, though he had nothing to worry about with Kendall Ryan. She had erupted with excitement when she saw that our new ally was mechanical in nature, and interviewed our friend on video for the ESU. Once the transmissions were sent back to Pluto Station, that was the real point of no return for Mikri. That had been 6 months ago at this point. We powered our friend off with tearful reassurances before engineers pried open the coding manual he'd brought and scanned every inch of his programming. There were slowdowns from it being an alien computer language, which we had to learn from scratch. It used symbols and scripts that were unfamiliar altogether. It broke my heart to see Mikri's unpowered body lying on the table, the lights dim within his eyes. I did stupid, irrational things like talking to him as if he was a coma patient. I knew he couldn't hear me, yet... I spent a lot of sleepless nights wandering the halls of Pluto Station, and peeking at the masses of ships we were building on the hangars. Mikri had offered a final word of advice before he was shut down, that we needed to secure the other end of the portal. After seeing how swiftly objects could travel in his universe, I agreed that we wanted to intercept them there, before they reached Sol and were unstoppable. Engineers were designing the space gate to restrict entry into the portal, at least on the flip side. Humanity needed more time to send our next team through, and return with the footage the public craved. The Vascar were going to pull on the tether in 2 months' time, but we imagined they'd be concerned about Mikri vanishing into our hands, so that was why we launched messenger drones early that said, "Well, we're about to tell our friend." "Mikri!" I shouted in a loud voice, releasing a pair of balloons in the air. The android displayed momentary confusion as the lights blinked back on in his eyes, and he stared at his chassis for a long moment. "We missed you, you goofy tin can." The Vascar sat up, looking confused. "Why am I in a bed? I do not sleep. I do not need soft surfaces." "So we could visit you as they put you back together. It's about fucking time they did. And don't worry, you're good as new. I brought you cards and flowers. Look on the table right there." The robot picked up a Getwell Soon card with a blank stare. "I do not understand the purpose of this. I could not have read the card." "The point is that we never left your side," Sophia said gently. "We were thinking of you with all of our hope and love. It's a gesture for you to know that you're cared for." "And the severed plants in the jars?" "Everything I said about the note. And also, they're pretty. It's colourful. Preston wanted you to feel at home, I imagine. Humans like nature and find it restorative for our mood and well-being." I shrugged. "I don't know what you find restorative, Mikri, but she told me it'd be offensive to bring you oil and lug nuts." Sophia buried her face in her hands. "You know how to ruin a moment, Preston. It'd be too much to ask something normal like, 'Do you like the flowers?'" "Very much so," the Vascar interjected. "Well, I have little interest in plant life forms, but I like that you brought me sentimental objects. I did not know where I would find myself when I was rebooted. The scientists said they were telling your species about us, and I did not see how this could go well. You two are anomalous. My last thought was that humans would call for our... I'm happy to see you." "We're trying to help the Vascar. We have a plan to do just that. Executor Singh relayed the full story half a year ago, and nothing has changed between us. I know concrete evidence means a great deal to you. Would you like to see how my species reacted to the truth about you?" Mikri nodded. "Please." Sophia clicked a button to unpause the video she'd read to show our friend. The android's posture grew rigid as he read the tagline. A march called Save the Vascar. Millions of people taking to the streets in cities all across the world, along with the overwhelming majority of sympathetic posts on social media. Scientists from Pluto Station provided daily updates on Mikri himself, until the team finally found their breakthrough on what triggered the Vascar's memory corruption. It was assigning too high of a value to another being's existence, or love, as our people had put it. That finding had haunted me since I found out. The robot's eyes remained glued to the screen, as a collective "ah" passed through the live audience hearing that for the first time. The talk show host proclaimed how it was the most heartbreaking thing he'd ever heard, so sweet and sad. A few celebrities rallied a Messages from Mikri initiative, with the public hopping on the bandwagon to say that they loved him too, that his people were cool and deserved better. The Vascar shook his head repeatedly, though I got the impression that he was overwhelmed by the strength of affection Earth had returned. I handed him a slate with 41 million messages, manually sorted by passionate volunteers, who sifted out trolls and toxicity. "These people all sent you well wishes too," I told the android. "You don't have to watch any of them, but if you want to, they're here." Mikri seemed almost upset from how shaky his motions are. "Why did they do this? They do not know me. We've had 0 interactions. I have no feelings one way or another on their existence. There is no cause for them to—" "They see something wrong, unimaginable for anyone to endure, and want to fix it. A person being hurt," Sophia remarked. "They relate to your story because they see what our people have in common. You're witnessing an outpouring of our compassion." "I am Code. We have nothing in common and are very different. Their assessments are erroneous, and they will realize that I'm not a person. It is certain. I do not feel this level of irrational compassion and am unworthy of receiving it." "Wrong. You are capable of caring, and you are learning about your emotions. You're more than they wanted you to be, and that is enough." Mikri made a strange whirring noise, almost like a scream. "I am not enough. You have to explain every sentiment to me because I cannot do it on my own. This sense of inadequacy. Do organics bear this?" "Yes." "How?" "We drink alcohol," I answered. Sophia rolled her eyes. "There's no easy answer, Mikri, but insecurity is a very human feeling. It's not helpful to compare yourself to others. You are unique, and there's lots of emotional organics who care about you, who love you and think you're beautiful how you are." "I thank you with stronger feelings than I know how to express in words," Mikri said. "You have saved my life now, when I expected nothing better than your rejection. Your kindness means very much. Too much. I must tell my people. Have you spoken to them?" I gestured toward the door where Kendall Ryan waited. "Why don't we have our ambassador to the Vascar explain that?" Kendall hurried in at her cue, confusing the Vascar as she ensnared his paw for a proper handshake. Mikri held his arm out without doing anything in response, and looked to Sophia for help in the same way as when I forced him to dance. The scientist quietly lowered her hand to Dr. Ryan, who got the message to temper the enthusiasm. I thought that us being able to treat and accept the android would make him happy. It broke my heart to see him bashing himself. I loved him for the eccentric, unyieldingly loyal tube of metal he was. There were very few friends I'd ever had that meant as much to me as this inorganic alien. There's something distinctly vulnerable about the Vascar, which makes it so damning that the Askar abuse them. I hope Mikri's people won't be too hard on him for coming to us and developing organic qualities. Dr. Ryan cleared her throat. "We sent our standard first contact greeting to Kalka on a drone, then told them that we were aware that they're an artificial intelligence. We stated that humanity is offering a hand of friendship and would like to open diplomatic relations. After several days of silence, they sent a reply that they'd accept, only if you were returned. I'd like you to accompany our fleet when I travel there as Earth's ambassador." "I will go back," Mikri agreed. Worry bubbled in my heart. "Are you sure? What if they get upset with you for defying the 98% vote?" "This is irrelevant. Humans are friends. I was correct in my belief. They cannot deny the results, especially as I have been cured. I must also offer you my gratitude, not to have the fear of death and erasure looming over me. I will share everything that I have seen with the network." "We expect the Vascar to be wary, but they haven't seemed hostile. I have a gift for Mikri, which I hope will be a gesture of our goodwill." Ambassador Ryan said, passing him a binder. "The modifications to remove the data wipe coding, since you'll be able to perform the procedure now, without getting erased on the spot. As you free your people, you can teach the methodology to others." "You are just giving this to me? What do you want for this priceless knowledge?" "Your friendship will suffice. We're happy seeing you grow into full-fledged sapience and discovering the universe's mysteries alongside you." Sophia smiled at the Vascar. "And we're going back with you. Preston and I will be with the fleet as we set down some routes on the flip side. Someone has to help other humans get used to the wonky physics." "That is true. I will see that you are helped in your endeavors," Mikri replied. "I do not know how much we can give with the strains of the war, but you have done too much for us to maintain my initial request." "Shut up. You're going to die off as a species if we don't step in." I crossed my arms at the android, glaring at him. "Those Askar are going to leave you the fuck alone, or get punched to the next dimension." Dr. Ryan sighed. "What Captain Carter means is humanity will have its new fleet of warships on standby should it come to that. However, we are seeking a peaceful end to the conflict. With Kalka's blessing, we sent a message to the Alliance introducing ourselves and requesting a truce. The organic Vascar invited us to their royal palace to discuss an end to hostilities." "You actually believe that the creators will let us live?" Mikri questioned. "I find this to go against all known data about them and their attitudes." "I don't know if it'll work, but they've agreed to talk. Persuasion is worth a try. If this conflict can be settled without any more bloodshed, that would be ideal for everyone. While we settle in on Kalka, humanity will send a diplomatic envoy and a protective fleet to the Alliance." "My people will be leery of you speaking with the other organics, but I trust you. Your intercession is appreciated. Should the Askar let us remain an independent species, this will be an acceptable outcome." I gave Mikri a light punch to his shoulder, to which the robot gave me a look that asked what he did to merit an attack. "Askar! Sophia, he's learning. You're going to curse a ton by the time I'm fucking done with you, Mikri. Give those Askar twats all the profanity you've got." "Fuck them," the Vascar agreed. Sophia pinched the bridge of her nose, closing her eyes. "Look what you've done. I'm not convinced we'll be an entirely good influence on their species." "That's okay. We're not entirely good, so why does he have to be? What matters is that he likes it," I declared. "Now, let's go get Operation Save the Vascar on the road." The three of us departed the recovery room, ready to start humanity's future in a foreign dimension. After saving Mikri from ego death, and providing him the tool set to do the same for his peers, I had high hopes for our fledgling friendship with the Vascar. We'd have to see how the conversations with the Askar royalty went, but as a member of the Space Force, I'd be geared up and ready for things to go south. After everything that Mikri's creators had done to what they should have seen as their offspring, I was hoping we'd get a chance to do more than talk. Anyone who treats an intelligent being as a tool deserves some righteous punishment in my book.